Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all. And today I want to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks bad. Bitcoin looks bad right now. Yes, looks bad. In fact, I had to put out a video last night just because I sensed that way too many people were getting way too fearful. Right? So I know it looks bad, but I'm going to address what that means exactly going forward in this video. So let's get started. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media, CryptosRUs.com, and the brand new CryptosRUs Clips channel. Make sure you follow that as well. Welcome, guys. Hopefully you're hanging in there, and Bitcoin is hanging right around 34.4, right? And yesterday, last night, last week, been pretty bad for Bitcoin, right? There's no doubt about it. Bitcoin went from 38,000 down to 36,000, down to 35, and we are now down to 34.4. And many people are turning very bearish. Very bearish indeed. And Bitcoin looks bad when you focus on day to day, week to week, or even month to month performance. Right? I have said this before. If you're only looking at a very short time frame, it looks bad right now. There's no doubt about it because it's coming down. And it could go down even more. But that's why I wanted to show you guys this. It looks bad. And I got to thank Naive Cat for this because this is a perfect example of how not to look at Bitcoin and crypto. Because it looks bad short term. But when you zoom out and zoom out, and zoom out, and zoom out, and zoom out, you realize that, yeah, not looking so bad. Okay? And that is the way to look at it. When it comes to Bitcoin, you got to stretch out your timeline because you're in it for the long haul. You're in it for that financial freedom or life-changing wealth. And that doesn't happen in days or weeks or months. It happens in years. Right? Which is why I posted this last night. I think it's very fitting. Days may look like this. Years, let's look like an exponential gain. Decades, you're moonshotting. That is honestly what has happened with Bitcoin and crypto over the last few years. Okay? So short term, it looks bad. It looks very bad. Looks bad indeed. We're down to 34,000, right? Maybe we go down to 28,000, which would be a low point of 2021. Maybe we do go there, right? But this is why I tell you guys to focus on the future because Bitcoin has been through this. It has. Many time over the last decade. And every single time, fear is high and there's uncertainty in the world, Bitcoin goes down. But guess what? Then people realize that they've made a mistake and they should have never sold in the first place. And then they all come back. And we have the cycle repeat over and over again. And who's profiting from these cycles? Long-term holders and whales. That's it. Long-term holders, the ones that have been holding for years or a decade, they're multimillionaires or billionaires now. And then the whales also benefit because they're really good at what they do, and that is buy low and sell high. And they may play some games from time to time. And I'll show you some whale games today. I'll show you how they're manipulating the market, right? But this is why I've been telling you guys to stay the course, have patience, and just don't change your strategy. And that strategy is the one that I've been following for many years, right? And that is to DCA and HODL. No matter how many people tell you, how many lines are drawn, all these analysts that are telling you this is good, this is bad, this is bad, this is bottom, this is top, we may go here, we may go there. It's all speculation and no one really knows. No one can tell you exactly this is the bottom, this is the turning point, or this is where you should put in your 100x leverage. Well, some people tell you that and help you get wrecked, but no one truly knows, right? So that's why DCA over long haul works. So Bitcoin looks bad short term, long term looks fantastic, okay? And will continue to be that way, in my opinion, basically forever. All right, so I wanted to start out with that, hopefully calming you guys down a little bit, or maybe changing your perspective, okay? And when it comes to DCAing, you actually have to flip your mentality into thinking, well, it's not actually bad to DCA on the way down. And here's why. I know your portfolio may be going down in the short term, but if you realize that you're actually, the whole purpose of dollar cost averaging is to bring your cost average down. And how can you do that? When you're buying low. So if you can change your mentality into thinking, this is actually great because I can bring my cost average on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, on Terra, on Cardano lower. When we recover, that's how I'm going to gain more. So that's how you're supposed to be looking at it. And most in this space do not. They never do that. They only focus on when things are going up. I know because if, let's say, Terra goes up 10%, should I buy in, George? It's up 10%. Should I buy in when it's high? No, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to buy when Terra is down 10% or 15% like it is now. Because that's how you make the money when it comes up, right? And it's a simple concept. It's hard to get your head to realize that. But once you get it, you would actually cherish these times and know that this is the time to be buying, and this is the time that will actually help you make money, right? So just want to lead off with that. All right. Now, as for this coming week, there are some big things happening this week. Okay, number one, well, I did mention fear index, right? Fear index is very high, and I think when this updates, it's going to be even lower. But number one, I think a lot of fear is due to Moscow, due to Russia, due to Putin, which is Victory Day tomorrow. And I mentioned this last night, but I do think a lot of people are very fearful of what may come tomorrow. Are they going to officially declare a declaration of war on Ukraine, although that seems silly at this point? But maybe Putin is going to declare victory on the few places that has been annexed so far or separated from Ukraine. Maybe. Or maybe he does something else that people do not like because he wants to save face, because Russia is not looking good right now in terms of a war that's supposed to be lasting just days or even weeks have now turned much longer than that, right? So I do think there's a lot of scare over this, but maybe nothing happens tomorrow. Maybe Putin doesn't do anything, right? But I do think going into tomorrow, right, there's a lot of FUD over this, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So this, we will see what happens tomorrow. So this is coming up tomorrow. And there's another big event that's coming up, and that's on Wednesday, and that's when CPI number comes out in the U.S. This is measuring core inflation, right? No, not core inflation, just inflation overall, right? We will get a first glimpse of whether or not inflation has peaked. And this could be an enormous thing for the market, okay? In fact, you could see that we were at 8.6% last month. This is actually giving a forecast of 8.1%, which means many people feel like inflation has peaked back in March, and our April number will actually show inflation heading down. Interesting. And if that is actually true, if we come anywhere under the 8.6%, even if it's 8.5% or 8.4%, that would be, I think, a huge boost for the markets, but we will see. Maybe not. Maybe it won't, right? So there's still a lot of eyes on this, but I do think going into Monday, this is going to be the big thing. The big thing that most people are worried about, right? But, I do see Bitcoin. Bitcoin just dropped a little bit more while I've been talking, and that's okay. What did I just get done saying? Right? Short term looks bad. Oh, and by the way, why it actually looks even worse than it is because, of course, of liquidations. Because over the last day, we had another 200 plus, about 250 million of longs liquidated, and it's compounding. When we started, you could see there was about 300 million. Then we had another 100 million. Last night, we had 200 million. So the shorts are definitely getting liquidated. No, excuse me. Longs are definitely getting liquidated. So that is also having more effect on the market. But going back to what I just said, short term might look bad. There may be volatility. No, there is volatility. And all eyes are on what's going to happen on Monday, what's going to happen on Wednesday. There's always going to be external factors that's going to be affecting markets and affecting Bitcoin and crypto overall, right? But you got to change your mindset and realize these are the times to be bringing your cost average down to dollar cost average and focus on years or maybe decades, not day to day, right? So again, just repeating that. All right. Now, I did mention the two people or two groups of people that make money with Bitcoin and crypto. Number one is long-term holders, and number two are whales, right? And I'm going to show you how the whales are benefiting and how they contribute to some of the panic that's going on right now. So first example is this. The third largest whale, the third largest address holder for Bitcoin. Is he selling off Bitcoin at this point? No. In fact, he just bought another 1,000 Bitcoin at 36,000, right? So he continues to accumulate. And he already has $4.3 billion worth of Bitcoin. Yet he continues to buy, right? Just one example. Here's a Glassnode, chart about addresses with over 10,000 Bitcoin. So obviously you are a whale. And look at the right-hand side. In fact, it's going up. So the number of addresses with over 10,000 Bitcoin has spiked up recently. Why do you think that's the case? Because they're buying. Here's one that's measuring Bitfinex whales. Also, the blue line, you could see the ones that are actually buying and actually buying longs are the ones, they're going up because Bitfinex whales is also buying the dip, right? So these are clear examples of what the whales are doing. They buy the dip and they continue to buy the dip and they continue to buy the dip, right? That is what they do. You buy low and you sell high, right? So at this point, these whales that may have contributed to a lot of the liquidations and contributed to a lot of fear that we're seeing right now, they are the ones that continue to buy and buy and buy. And how they can manipulate the market is, and this is a good example that I've been keeping track of, and I'm going to use Terra as an example. Terra has sold off more than usual, more than its counterparts for some reason, right? I figured out that reason. Because it makes no sense that, I think yesterday it was down like 15% alone. Today it's still calculating about 11%. But why did it sell off so much? Well, this is exactly what happened. So there's a ton of UST on Curve, which is one of the biggest dexes for stablecoins, right? And Terra is getting ready to release this 4 pool, which is just another pool with UST. It has a whole bunch of bucket of tokens in there to provide more liquidity. But someone decided to sell off about 285 million UST on purpose, okay? Causing a lot of people to panic and withdraw UST from Anchor. And basically, with all the panic on UST, and Anchor and Luna, right? The price of UST depegged by a cent, went down to 99 cents instead of $1, which is something that shouldn't happen, right? But even with all that, with all the power and all the 300 million dump, right? Terra USD stabilized. It's back to $1, right? But this is clearly an example of some whale trying to take advantage of the situation because there's so much fear out there. They're trying to utilize a DEX and cause massive sell-off of a certain stablecoin to try to destabilize it. This happened with Phantom recently. Phantom had this situation, right? And I think it has happened with several other stablecoins like Near, because Near also has been selling off a lot. But they tried to do it in UST, and they failed, right? So clearly, whale games, manipulation is going on, right? But UST and Luna is strong because they have been buying a ton of Bitcoin and other stable coins and Luna and Avalanche, and they are backing their UST, right? So they're not going to go away anytime soon. And this reminds me a lot of what happened when Terra fell to $50 before, when this other project, Abracadabra, went under, and there was a lot of FUD, and people were doing the same thing and just panic selling UST and Terra, right? Luna has found a way back, and I think they'll find a way back here too. But just to give you a clear example of what happened, right? And this happens all the time. For altcoins, for Bitcoin, there's a lot of stuff happening, right? There is always a lot of stuff happening, but don't fall for it, because that's how the whales make money. They drop things low, they buy low, and unfortunately, people that have panic sold, well, they're never going to be recovering because they already sold, right? So the best way, I believe, the best way that I'm handling the market right now is to continue the course. Just continue the course, DCA, and have patience and know that what we're going through right now will pass. That's really it. That's really it. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, scrolling through the chat here, a lot of fudsters, maybe not intentional, but a lot of people that have a lot of fear, let's just say, and spreading it. That's okay. That's why I'm here, and that's why a lot of you guys have tuned in, because you just don't know any better, and that's fine. That's fine. Let's see here. There's no questions. There's a lot of statements. 34K support is gone? Not really. And 34K isn't a support, so it's not even a real thing. What support is this? If people want to know, and people always want to know, because they think knowing will somehow make them feel better and protect themselves. But when it comes to these support levels, they get crushed all the time. So there's no definite support or definite, ceiling. But right now at 34, that's not a support. If you're looking at the low of 2022, that's right around 33,000. So if we do continue, probably 33,000. And after that, the next support is, of course, 30,000. Or you could argue 28.8 because that is the low from 2021. Right? So if we do break through 33, the next one will be probably 30,000. Okay. And if somehow the world, I don't know, like something horrible happens around the world, or let's say war escalates or something like that, and there's a black swan event, then sure. Can Bitcoin fall below that? Yes. We have seen periods like that happen before. March of 2020, we saw that. Bitcoin flash crashed down to 38. So if something externally is happening that's really, really bad, can it spook the market some more? Yes. So what does that mean? Can we drop down to the 200 weekly moving average, which is around 21,000? It's a possibility. But again, It's all speculation. No one knows exactly where it's going to go, where it's going to end up. No one knows exactly the turning point, just like 2021. No one knew that this was the exact turning point before going up. But had you just dollar cost average, it would be just fine. And we are still above that point, just to point out, right? This is why we need to all focus on this and not day to day, because you just don't know. You just don't know. Johnny Taco, how does cryptocurrency work? That's way too broad of a question for me to answer. But I would start out learning about Bitcoin first and do all your research on Bitcoin. Know what it's all about, why so many people believe in it, and why it's being globally adopted. And then once you understand that, then look into stablecoins and look into altcoins and understand the differences between them. So that's what I would suggest. Jeff, always appreciate it. Thoughts on Zill? I mean, they seem to be okay. Metapolis will be their new thing, right? And we'll see if they can build that out. Will further adoption of Luna and UST pull Frax due to liquidity pools? I mean, that's the 4 pool that I mentioned. It was like Frax, and then there was Phantom, and then UST and Luna. It was like a four currency peg, and Luna is getting ready for that. So whatever happened right now is not a mistake. It's not an accident. People are doing it right now on purpose to try to destabilize UST. And there's rumors that this is just rumors that it's another stablecoin maker because their stablecoin is dying because UST. So there's rumors about that. I can't verify that one way or another, but that's what happened with Terra recently. Let's see. Happy Mother's Day, World War II Victory Day. Hopefully Putin will end the war. You know, that is a possibility. A lot of people are anticipating the worst, but it could be that tomorrow, you know, one of the scenarios could be Putin declares that the war is won, that he has caused devastation in Ukraine. Ukraine has said that they will never join NATO, right? And there's certain regions that have been annexed. So maybe Putin decides to end the war and say because he's already won. That would cause a huge market rally, right? We just don't know at this point. But I think a lot of people's waiting for tomorrow to be very, very, very bad. But maybe it turns out to be a nothing burger. And maybe it could be even turn out to be a good thing. We don't know. But there's just so many people that's worried about this right now. Bomb Biggity, I had 30% dry powder. Now I'm shopping. Follow your advice, and now I'm buying at a big discount. Congratulations. I'm glad to hear it. Right? This is why it's important to have... Oh, hold on one second. What? Ronnie, go. Trying to let my dog out. Ronnie, go. All right, he's not listening. All right, you guys just have to see the dogs in the background. But, you know, this is why you need to have cash on the side. And I've been saying 20, 25, 30%, right? So that you're able to DCA and you're able to dollar cost average. Otherwise, you just have to sit and hold on. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you do, well, then you're better off for it because you have the ability to keep going, right? Are they out? Yes, they're out. Let's see. Dear George, my friend always says he gets in below spot price. He uses a special coupon or lying to me. Today he's at 32. Yes, he's lying to you. There's no special coupon. There's no special code. If anyone tells you that, I would say stay far, far away. There is no buying Bitcoin at a discount other than buying Bitcoin when it's low. That's really it. There's no secret to that. Okay? Right now, Bitcoin is lower than it was a day ago, which is lower than 2 days ago, which is lower than 3 days ago, right? So Can you buy Bitcoin at a discount right now? Yes. Yes, you can. That's the true way. That's the only way to buy Bitcoin at a discount. You buy low and you sell high. VMJR. The only mistake I made this weekend was buying tickets for Doctor Strange. I told you, man. I told you. That I can't get into the details because I swore I would wait at least a week, but I had such big hopes, big hopes for Doctor Strange, and it turned out to be a big downer. Like I was just waiting, waiting for it to get exciting, and then it never came. Are you concerned about Michael Saylor's margin call at 21,000? No, I'm not. Because people don't realize that he has more than enough Bitcoin to add in as collateral. He could bring down that margin call down to like 5,000 if he wanted to. All right. So the only people worried about that margin call are the fudsters that's trying to drive you out of the market. Honestly, the only people talking about that are the ones that's spreading the most FUD. And I don't even get the reason why, other than because they're miserable themselves and they want to cause more fear. But there are certain guys on Twitter that purposely keeps focusing on things like that on purpose to drive more FUD. And unfortunately, a lot of them do have a large following. And there are people that's following that. That is something that is not going to be an issue. Okay. But, there's just a lot of things, a lot of people that like to spread FUD. Putin is Amber Heard's baby daddy. Maybe. Who knows? I canceled my tickets. That's good. The new Spider-Man is really bad, too. I like the new Spider-Man better than Doctor Strange. My kids were just watching Sonic 2s, but I can't comment on how good Sonic 2 is. I did watch WandaVision and Loki. Loki was great. WandaVision, not so good. But they continue. I can't say more because it's kind of go give away Doctor Strange too. But no, I didn't like it at all. And it didn't make a whole lot of sense. And the people that was trying to stop the villain, they were worthless. They didn't add anything to the film. So, anyways. Yeah, I'm waiting to see what they do with Loki. Loki is really good. No, Michael Saylor did not buy in leverage. He bought Bitcoin, putting down Bitcoin as collateral. He borrowed against his Bitcoin. So, of course, there's a 50% margin call, but you can always put down more collateral. He didn't put the entire pot. He only put a small fraction of it. So he has more than enough to put more down if necessary. Rob fell. Appreciate that. I liked WandaVision. I thought it was way too slow. That's why most people turned it off, but they couldn't get past the first few episodes. Let's see here. No more originality. Yeah, because it's hard. I don't know why. I don't know why it's so hard to come up with new great movies that are originals. It's all prequels or sequels or comic book stuff, which I don't mind the comic book stuff. I think they're interesting. But yeah, there's really no really good original movies anymore. Halo series so far is very interesting. The last episode kind of sucked. No one cares about the backstory of that one girl. They could have just removed that. Did you see that Facebook Meta are going to open physical stores to sell their VR hardware? That's just going to be a big flop. Meta's like Oculus stuff is already being sold in Best Buy and everywhere, and no one's buying it. So having physical stores is going to be a big mistake. Just like Amazon is closing down their 4-star shops because it's pointless. people buy Amazon stuff through Amazon, not through physical stores. So you have to have a good strategy, I guess. Is it your own experience in the market in BTC that keeps your outlook so positive? Yes. Yes. I mean, I've been sharing basically what I've learned over the years and my mistakes. And every time when the market felt like it was going to go to hell, and sometimes you could argue it did, and you panic sell or I panic sold, it always led to regret every single time. Had I just held and continued to DCA, I would be in much better position than I am even now. So that is honestly the one thing. Anyone that's been in the sector, crypto, for, let's just say 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, anyone that's been in it for years will realize that, yes, that had they not done anything, had they not tried to trade, not tried to outsmart the market, not tried to sell and buy back later, had they just hodled and DCA'd, they would be much better off. Every single person I meet have said that. So that's the only thing I worry about right now, right? Having that cash pile to be able to DCA on the dips and just hodl. And sometimes I know it seems like it's really hard to, but if you get through that and realize that you're supposed to be dollar cost averaging on the way down, not on the way up, really. You want to bring your cost average down, right? If you realize that and you get it through your head, then these times won't seem as bad. And actually, you'll probably cherish these times too. Am I excited about Avatar 2? It's been like 15 years or something. No, not really. I forgot what the first film was about. Barrick. My average buy is 45K for BTC. If we pump to 40s, should I profit to buy again and sell? I'm a loss. I just got done answering that. I think the answer is no. Do you think with the up and coming hard fork, ADA will have a quick pump? I think probably not, but I think their stable coin could be a catalyst for them. DJED, if that goes and operates at full force, I think it could help them. Did you buy the latest Star Wars? I haven't bought anything at VV. I don't. To be honest, I've stayed away because I don't like how things are just locked into the VV marketplace. I like something that I could store on MetaMask and something off the, something that's more open. Overexposed the best NFT and Cardano. Okay, if you say so. I've never heard of them. All right, I think. SAR says, I remember last year when Bitcoin hit about 27,000, people were panicking, and you told them same thing. Yes, and we got through it. Yes. I mean, this is the one strategy that doesn't fail when it comes to Bitcoin. It really comes down to having that patience and understanding that you're investing for years or decades, not days. Okay? If you get that through your head, then you realize that Bitcoin doesn't look bad. And this is prime opportunity to continue the way and continue to DCA, right? And when things come back, that's when you'll be in the green. And you'll be better off for it, right? So that is my strategy, and we'll continue to stay with it. So even though short term, no matter how bad it may look, and we're at 34,000, and I'm not going to argue right now, looks great compared to yesterday or compared to last week, right? And we may go even lower depending on what happens tomorrow and this week because there's a lot of external factors at play. But I'm going to continue the course. I'm going to continue to hodl and DCA, and I will do that no matter what anyone else says because I believe in Bitcoin. And everything that I've shown about Bitcoin is still true, strong, and fundamentals getting better each and every day. All right, guys, that is it. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and my brand new CryptosRUs Clips channel, there's going to be content on both every single day. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.